A very good afternoon to all the students who are present today for the lecture of second year BCom semester 3 subject management. I warmly welcome one and all. I hope that you have been attending the previous lectures on management, so you are very well aware that we have started and discussed quite a lot in the first unit of management that talks on the contemporary issues in human resource management. By now you might be aware about all the different contents that has to be studied in unit number 1, out of which we have already covered with the introduction, that is the introduction of human resource management with its different goals, objectives, importance, and we have also discussed about number of other contemporary issues pertaining to human resource management. In the previous lecture, we had discussed on talent management, and I also gave you a brief idea on the meaning of career. The focus for today's lecture shall be to revise the concept we did in the previous lecture, that is talent management, career and its stages, and thereby we begin with the new topics, that is career planning and career management. Lastly, we would have a discussion on the work-life balance and how is it so important for the employees working in the organization. So with this, we would be ending the unit number 1 of management today. So let us begin with a quick recap of whatever we discussed in the previous lecture. So students, we had discussed the topic on talent management. I hope you know what do we mean by talent management. So it is nothing but acquiring the best talent from the external environment. But not only this, it also meant developing the skills and abilities, the talents of those who are already working in your organization, and thereby retaining the same so that the organizational current and future needs can be satisfied. So we were focusing on the management of talent, but not only of the external environment, but also of those who are currently working in your organization. So you may have a quick look at the definition we had discussed. So it was an approach to attract, develop, and retain the people with the necessary aptitude abilities so that the organizational current and future needs can be satisfied. So one more definition that we had studied, set of business practices that manages the planning, acquisition, development, retention, and the growth of talent so that the business goals are achieved. I had also shown you this diagram which depicts talent management in a nutshell. That is to say, it was finding the talented employees. When I say finding, we were searching out the best talent from the external outside environment. We were acquiring the talented employees, and thereby we have to work for retaining the same. It should not happen that the best talent leaves your organization. We had understood different challenges pertaining to talent management. So it talked on number 1, attracting the best talent, as I said, from the outside environment, identifying the skills that are required by the organization for a respective job. Number 3, you had to develop the same as well. That is to say, you cannot always hire the best talent from outside. You can also develop the employees currently working in your organization. You can develop their skills, their abilities, and talent. Thereby, number 4, it was to deploy, arrange, or organize, meaning to say the right person had to be given the right job at the right time. Lastly, you need to engage, that is to say, provide them a correct working environment so that they can give their best effort for achievement of the organizational goals. Students, we had discussed in detail all the different steps that needs to be undertaken for a talent management process. Have a quick glance at it. So it was to understand the requirement. When I say requirement, it was to understand the requirement of the necessary skills and the abilities or the talent which is required by the organization for a particular job. Thereby, you have to search for that talent. You have to attract the best talent from the outside environment, recruit the talent. When I say recruitment, we were actually inviting them to apply in our organization. Once it is done, we may work for selecting the best talent out of the pool of recruitments or applications that we have received. Not only this, even those who are currently working in your organization needs to be given training and development so that their skills can be developed. After having done this, that is to say, you have not only attracted the people from outside, but you also have developed the skills of your existing employees. So now comes the task of retaining them. That is to say, maintaining the employees in your organization. Also working for promoting them to higher positions. Competency mapping, that is to say, decide the skills and the abilities required and whether it is possessed by the employees or not. So performance appraisal can play a very important role over here, whereby you will assess and evaluate the performance of employees to know if they possess the required skills and abilities, or whether they are fit for a particular job or not. As I said, performance appraisal, evaluate their performance and reward them based on that. Career planning that we are going to discuss today in detail. So take initiatives and participation to plan the career of an employee. Succession planning, meaning to say deciding who shall replace whom in the near future. If vacancies are created, who will fill those vacancies? Lastly, exit, that is the employee when leaves your organization or retires from your organization becomes the exit step for talent management. So students, this was all about talent management we had discussed. I hope you are once again clear with the topic. In the previous lecture, we also started with the topic of career management. Of course, we did not talk on career management, but what we talked on was career. So, what did you mean by career? So, it was nothing but the series of positions that a person is holding in his work life. But in which order, my students? It was the order that is in ascending order. So you can see it is sequence of separate but related work activities that is providing continuity, order, meaning in a person's life, given by Edwin Flippo. Another easy definition that we had done, it is series of positions, but as I said, in ascending order that an employee holds during his working life. So whatever he has achieved in his working life gradually forms up the career of an individual. In the previous lecture, I discussed in detail about all the different stages of career. As you can see, there are 5. So we had discussed about the first one, that was exploration, where, as the name suggests, the individual is actually exploring. He is searching out for the profession or the job that he can join based on his abilities. This is the stage wherein actually he's seeking answers to all the puzzling questions he has for his career. Number 2, establishment, where actually he was gaining the first experience or the first job where he was making mistakes, but thereby also was learning from those mistakes. Number 3, it was the mid career. So I hope you remember under this stage, it could be that the individual is either progressing in his career or he's just staying constant or he's declining in his career. So the best possible thing would be to hold on to whatever he has, but of course he cannot commit more mistakes because his mistakes would be taken up very seriously, could also be penalized, and he would be placed on those positions which commands his experience and maturity. Fourth was late career. So in case he has been progressing in the mid career, he would be given more value in late career as well. He can teach the youngsters through his experience and through his judgment. It would be given value, but in case he was on the declining stage in mid career, then definitely he would be leaving out from the job. Lastly was decline, wherein he moves towards retirement after decades of working and after decades of achievement and having a glorified career. Now he would also move towards retirement. So that is nothing but the declining stage of career. I hope you are clear with whatever we discussed up till now in the previous lecture. So, with this, let us begin with the new topics for the day that talks on career planning and career management. Now, what is career planning, or what are we doing? What are the human resource professionals doing while they are planning or managing the career of the employees working in the organization? So, when I say that the organization is planning the career of an employee, it is basically deciding as to what are the skills or the abilities that the employees possess. Secondly, deciding what the organizational needs are or what are the opportunities that can be given to the employees. Thirdly, it would be aligning or matching both of them so that not only the individual needs are satisfied, but also the organizational goals are achieved. As an organization, one has to pay attention to a right fit, that is to say, right person with the correct skills given the right job. It should not be that a talented person is given a very routine job or something that is quite average, and thereby not only be a loss for him but also a loss for the organization. So today, an organization and especially the human resource managers have to play a keen role in evaluating the skills and the abilities or the needs and the aspiration that the individual employee possesses. Thereby, they also need to give them, inform them about different career opportunities available in the organization. A path has to be designed in order to help them achieve their career goals, because as I said, it is not only in the interest of employee but also the interest of the organization. So with this, let us understand the meaning of career management. So as you can see, it is defined as the process that plans, shapes the progression of individual. When I say progression, it is planning and shaping how an individual can move to higher positions, move ahead in an organization. And it should be in alignment with the organizational needs and objectives. It is concerned with provision of opportunities to people to develop their abilities and their career in order to ensure that organization has the flow of talent it needs and also satisfy their own aspirations. So as I said, it is basically linking or it is integrating the needs of organization with the needs of individual. Once you know what individual needs are, once you know what are their skills and abilities, you can design the best career opportunity for that individual. And after the alignment of both of them, not only the individual's needs will be satisfied, but also the organization will get benefit from the same. So you can also understand the same in few steps. That is to say, first, we need to become aware about the interest, values, strengths, and the weaknesses of employees. That is to say, employees have to first undergo self assessment to know their skills, to know their talents, and thereby also know their interest. They have to obtain information about the job opportunities within the company. By now, they know what are their skills and what work they can perform at best. So now they have to get information even about the job opportunities which are available in the company. They have to identify their career goals as to what they want to achieve and thereby they have to take the necessary plans so that they can achieve the career goal. But as I said, an organization can play a very important role by providing a career path to the employee to achieve those career goals. I hope you are clear with it. If yes, then you would also understand the meaning of career planning. So, as I said, a process wherein one would select the career goal and the path to these goals. The major focus shall be on assisting the employees to achieve a better match between personal goals and opportunities that are realistically available in the organization. It is actually a combination of two things: the personal goals of employee, or I can say the personal talent of an employee, with the opportunities, career opportunities that are actually available in the organization. The success is wherein the right person seeks and obtains the right job in the organization. So the organizations have to assist, have to help the employees in career planning so that both are at achievement of their own respective needs. If you are clear up till now, you can very well understand the career planning process. So whatever we discussed up till now can be just broken up into 4 steps, which we name it as the career planning process. So in that, pay attention to the first step, that is to say, identifying the individual needs and aspirations. I told about it earlier also, that before you actually understand the career opportunities in the organization, first the employee has to identify his own needs and aspirations. His own career goals he has to decide first. So here, the human resource professionals can also help the employees, where they can be provided as much information as possible, where they know what kind of work suits them the most, what kind of skills, experience, aptitude, abilities, talents they possess. It could be done through a number of psychological testing or some simulation exercises. There are a number of methods in which one can judge one's own aptitude. So that could be done. The employees could be helped for the same so that they get an idea as to what kind of career they can opt for, or how can they lay down their own career goal. So employees have to first identify their needs and aspirations. Secondly, aligning the needs and opportunities. Now, in the first step, an employee has already identified his needs, aspirations, as to what kind of skills and abilities he possesses and what kind of career goal can he seek for. So, secondly, there has to be an alignment or a match between the needs of employee and the career opportunities that are available in the organization. So that has to be done in the second step. Identify the employees and undertake the career development programs so that the employees' needs and the organizational opportunities can be aligned. As I said, the right person should seek for the right job, or I can say the right career. Number 3, analyzing the career opportunity. Now, the employees' needs have been identified, the opportunities in the organization has been identified. They both have been aligned as well. Thirdly, the career opportunities will be analyzed. That is to say, the organization has to provide the career path for each position, the path that would show the career progression possibilities very clearly. It would be indicating the various positions that an employee would be holding over the period of time. Of course, we can say that the career paths would change over time, or it would change based on the employee's needs and aspirations, but definitely the career opportunities have to be analyzed. The path as to how and when the goals, when the opportunities can be achieved needs to be analyzed. Lastly, an action plan has to be taken. Action plan meaning to say, now actually the alignment has to take place. Actually, the person now seeks a career opportunity, grabs the opportunity, and a periodic review. That is to say, the entire thing has to be reviewed every now and then to know whether the employee is in the direction of achieving the career goal or not. What are the changes that may have to take place? What are the changes in the skills that are required due to the changing organizational environment? So it is very much necessary to know as to what the employees are doing, what are their goals and aspirations, and whether the career path is in tune with the individual needs or not. Because ultimately, the alignment of an individual need and the career opportunity has to help achieve the needs of an employee and achieving the organizational goals. So, this is all about the career planning process. That is to say, identify your needs and aspirations, the skills, the abilities that you possess, combine it or match it with the opportunities available in the organization, analyze the career opportunity, that is to say, understand the path through which the career goal can be achieved. Lastly, you need to have a periodic review, that is to say, you need to see whether the employee is moving in line with his career goal, the direction in which he is moving is leading towards the achievement of career goal. Thereby, not only his needs have to be satisfied, but also the organizational objectives have to be achieved. Lastly, you need to also understand few factors that would help in effective career planning that are very simple and easily understandable. So an effective career planning will be possible where number one, support is received from the top management. When the top management is supporting, is helping the employees understand their needs, understanding their skills, and thereby also shows them the career opportunity, provides them the path to achieve the same, that is when career planning becomes effective. Number two, the goals. So the organizational goals have to be clearly laid down so that the human resources also know that with career planning, not only their needs but the organizational goals have also to be achieved. Ultimately, they both have to be aligned. It cannot be that individual needs are going on one direction and the organizational goals on the other. Number three, rewarding the performance. So, employees who are getting developed, whose skills and abilities are getting developed, they are moving towards their career goal, they are helping the organization achieve the objective, so even the performance needs to be rewarded. Number four, placement. So efforts must be made to put the employees on job that is in tune with their capabilities. As I said, the right person to be placed at the correct job. And that could be done only when there is an effective career planning. You have decided the individual needs, you know their skills and capabilities, you can very well match the same with the opportunities available in the organization. Next is career path. So the career paths for different type of employees may be laid down, and thereby the paths would help them achieve the career goals. Last is publicity. So we are talking about the publicity of the career opportunities which are available in the organization. If the employees are unaware about the very opportunities available, they would never be able to satisfy their needs and would never be able to achieve the career goal. So I hope you are clear with all the factors that helps in achieving effective career planning. With this, I move to the last but not the least topic of unit number one that talks on a factor that is the work life balance. We are talking about work life balance for an employee, for the human resources who are working in an organization. Why is it important, or why is it so inevitable for not only an employee but also the organization we shall be studying today? Basically, I can say that the work an employee is doing, That is to say, the work life and the personal life also of that employee. Both can be compared as the two sides of a single coin. And a right balance has to be maintained between the two. Because as you know, we are living in an extremely competitive environment where already people are rushing to achieve their career and are rushing to work in the organization. That does not mean that their personal life can be left behind, because ultimately when there is all work and no play, we can just say it would be creating an increased burden, increased pressure of work, ultimately leading to stress or even depression. So, that is not required in an organization. A correct balance has to be maintained between the work life and the personal life of an employee. We can say a right balance between the achievement and the enjoyment. Because even if he performs the work at the organization, there has to be an element of joy involved. So let us understand the meaning of it. It is all about, as I said, creating and maintaining supportive and healthy work environment which will enable employees to have a balance between work and personal responsibilities and thus strengthen employee loyalty and productivity. As I said, work-life balance is not only in the interest of employee, but also in the interest of an organization. As an organization, it is our responsibility to provide them a healthy work environment, which will help him have a balance between the work life and also the personal responsibilities, which would make him loyal and thereby increase the productivity for an organization. You are very well aware about the fact that when an employee is working at a place where he is happy to work, where he is working but without any pressure or without any excessive burden, where he is also able to take care of his personal life, he has a level of enjoyment while he's achieving his goals in the organization. It is only then can he put his wholehearted efforts to achieve the organizational goals. So there has to be a comfortable state of equilibrium. Equilibrium is nothing but a balance. So, balance between an employee's primary priorities, that is to say, of both his employment position and the private lifestyle. There are so many psychologists too who agree that the demands of an employee's career should not overwhelm the individual's ability to enjoy a satisfying personal life outside the business environment. It should never be the case that an employee's job or employee's organizational demands are much more that he's not able to satisfy his very personal life. So it should be a proper balance, a prioritizing between the work and the lifestyle. So he has to set a balance of priority between both of them. Work, when we say, it is nothing but the career and the ambition. And when we talk on lifestyle, it is all about his health, pleasure, the leisure, the family, the spiritual development, and whatnot. So a balance has to be there between the work life and the personal life. So it is understandable that employees who are able to effectively balance the demands of work and their family life or personal life are motivated to give their best. As I said earlier also, when both of the things move in alignment, he would definitely give his best in the organization. So it is to align the corporate and the individual goals so as to have a win-win scenario. I told in the very beginning that to enable a correct work-life balance is not only in the interest of an employee, but also the interest of the organization. Individual needs are satisfied, true, but also the organizational objectives will be more better achieved when it has a satisfied workforce and has a workforce which is filled with the zeal and enthusiasm. So it is a win-win scenario for both of them. Now we would also talk on few benefits through a work-life balance that an organization would receive. So when an organization is able to provide a work-life balance to its employees, as I said, the stress level would be quite less. Absenteeism would be reduced. The employees would not remain absent. They would be able to equally and actively participate in the work life also. And because their mental ability is strong, because they are mentally fit, they are quite happy with what they are doing, the health cost would also be reduced. The chances of getting ill, getting sick due to the work pressure would be reduced. Getting and keeping the right staff, so it will help them not only acquire the right staff but also maintain. Employees would definitely be attracted towards those organizations who are paying attention to their work life balance. Also, the increasing graduates, the newbies to the organization would be easily retained in the organization. They would also prefer those jobs where the work life balance is thought about. One can get the best from the staff, because when your staff is satisfied, they are able to pay attention not only to their work life but also their personal life. They would work with full motivation and commitment towards their organization. Ultimately, the organization becomes an employer of choice. I explained this topic when we had done employer branding, that it will create an image of the employer or the entire organization in such a positive manner that he becomes the employer of choice. Employees from all sectors get attracted to work in that organization. And lastly, would be improving the productivity in the organization, because with reduced stress, absenteeism, and increased motivation to work harder, the productivity tends to rise. So with this, we finished the first unit, that is on the contemporary issues of human resource management. You have understood all about human resource management and the different issues that one needs to face in the same. I would end up the unit with a saying by Jim Collins, that is, great vision without great people is irrelevant. So definitely it goes without saying that how far employees and human resources are so valuable and how far human resource management is inevitable. I hope you were clear with whatever we did today. A quick recap for you. You have understood work-life balance with its benefits, how it helps achieve a balance between the work life and the personal responsibilities. You have understood about career planning, what things can make up an effective career planning, the steps in the career planning process, how to align the individual needs with the career opportunities, how it is beneficial for both employees' needs as well as the organizational needs. So I hope you are clear with the same. If you have any doubts, any queries, feel free to ask them in the Google Classroom of your respective class, and I shall be answering to them at the earliest. Start studying, start preparing for the chapter, and see you soon in the next lecture, where we would be beginning with the second unit of management. Thank you so much for the day. Until then, happy learning.